We have hit our target, $96,900, but there will be an initial harsh rejection to the downside. I am ready for that move to the downside. I have put in here $450,000 in limit orders. Bitcoin is approaching $100,000 faster than everybody was expecting it, but we are now that close to enter the next phase of this run. And I will show you exactly what that means and what Bitcoin is doing next. Let's go. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in here again. We jump directly into the ETF Bitcoin inflow statistics here. So we can see yesterday we had another massive inflow of 8,390 Bitcoins that were bought off here by the ETF providers. I expect today another massive inflow day just because we are again creating a new all-time high approaching $100,000, which we potentially are going to touch already today. If not, we get really close to it, but I think from what I'm seeing in the charts, it looks like that we are potentially getting close or actually going to touch it in the next coming hours. So, and when we're going here into the 12-hourly chart, what we can clearly see is something that I mentioned yesterday, and that was that the indicators were all primed to push the price higher. And this is exactly what we see here. We see expansion to the upside in this massive candle, but I have to warn you, the closer we get to the $100,000 mark, the more likely it becomes that we see a harsh rejection candle to the downside. And here, I just want to point out the simple fact here that you know already, that at some point when price is moving away so far here from the EMA ribbon, that we need to come back to test the ribbon as support before we get continuation. So we have not touched the ribbon since $70,400 on the 12-hourly chart. So we were close to it a couple of times, but we did not touch it. And that is a massive problem. And I believe on the next bigger pullback here, that we actually will come down and touch it. So this might be not in one 12-hourly candle. It might take 2, maybe 3 days where it comes slowly down, but there will be an initial harsh rejection to the downside. And you see here on the VPVR that the first stop might be around the $91,000 level, because here's right now the longest volume bar closest to current price action. And we're going then into the 1-hourly chart. Same thing, price needs to come back to the EMA ribbon, which is currently around $96,000. Here the indicators telling us that we can still go a little bit higher. Currently we are just seeing a normal retest of the prior high here that we created this morning. So absolutely normal. We saw yesterday exactly the same thing here. We had this high over here, then we chopped around until we turned it into support, then we started to send to the upside today. So now we see here the same thing. We are trying to retest this as support. If it can hold, Bitcoin will move a little bit higher. On the 4-hourly chart, we are now in the golden ratio that I was talking about for a really long time now. We have hit our target, $96,900. So congratulations to every single one of you that was actually taking the trade. So here, I'm personally out of my Bitcoin trade. I closed it at around $96,000 when we got close to the golden ratio, just for the simple fact that the MDX algo reactor indicator is heating up here and gave a warning dot already. And we had 3 divergence plots over here, which are also warning signs. And usually when we get a lot of them in a concentrated time frame, then at some point we get a big reaction to the downside. So I don't want to rule out that we might go all the way up here to $102,000. I really don't want to rule it out. It can happen, guys. It can happen. And that $100,000 we just slice through it like a hot knife through butter, because everybody is expecting a harsh rejection, you know, and usually if everybody is expecting a certain outcome, exactly the opposite is happening. So that's why I don't want to rule this out anymore. But there's like 2 scenarios how I see this unfolding right now for Bitcoin. Either we push up here, go to 102, then get the big move to the downside, because then we were over $100,000. People think, oh, we are safe, we go higher immediately, and then get the big pullback. Or at some point today, it's happening where we are currently at, and we go back down to the daily open, potentially a little bit lower. So that would bring us back down to like $94,000, $93,000. But at that moment, something really, really crucial is going to happen that I want to talk with you about here in a second, and that is the phase 2 of the market. So as you can see here on ZoomX, as I said, I have closed my trade. The account is sitting at $606,000 currently, $4,000 still in a loss. So that I'm up like $610,000 on this account right now in total. But as you can see, I am ready for that move to the downside. I have put in here $450,000, I think, or more or less $400,000 in limit orders for that move to the downside. Regardless how low this will go, I'm gonna catch it. And I have enough orders here stacked up that my buy orders will average massively, massively down wherever we are coming down to. So again, guys, if you want to trade on ZoomX, sign up with the link in the description and a pin comment below. If you deposit $100 and open one single trade, you stand a chance to win $500 twice per week. And actually, tomorrow will be the last day where I give $500 away for just before Christmas. So take advantage of that. Sign up right now because it's going away for a month because something else is coming. So I'm also going to give away another $500 by the end of this video. So stick around to see if you are one of the winners. Then the liquidation levels, guys. Liquidation levels almost all taken out here. And you see here, it makes a little bit of sense to go all the way up to $101,500 because here's the last liquidation level on the short side. I reckon we will definitely come up to like 99,000 something today. And then we need to see if we get rejected or not because the high liquidity concentration, so now I have to make this bigger. This is the area where the high leverage liquidity is currently sitting on the liquidation levels. So it's all the way from 88,000 all the way up to $93,000. If we come to $93,000, again, we touch the EMA ribbon, and that will be good for continuation. On the liquidation heat map over the last 24 hours, so you see here at $98,600, there are some shorts that would get liquidated, but we need to move, in my opinion, to like $99,000 to get a small short squeeze into 99,500, and then you see there's a long time nothing until $101,500. I believe here in this gap, that gap is currently the area where I expect the big reaction to the downside because there's a gap, there's nothing, so there's no real interest for a market maker to push it above there. Maybe when we go into a higher time frame, it might change. No, you see, so all the upside liquidity is almost taken, and then we need to come down. The market maker wants to make money, so they need to push it down to take all the liquidity that's sitting here below us. On this 1 hourly chart, we are also getting close to the technical target of that ascending triangle that I gave you guys like 3 days ago or something. Here, the technical target is at $100,414. We are not far away from it. That might be also one of the other rejection points that I'm currently looking at, that we get up here or close to it and then come back down really, really harshly. On Bybit, you can still take advantage of the $500 airdrop position, guys. Trust me, you want to take it right now for what I'm going to show you here in a second, because you can trade any of these coins here, and half of these coins are coins that I'm talking about today. It's really easy. You deposit $100, you claim the voucher, you use the voucher, and all the profits that you make out of that $500 position belong to you. Don't forget, I have shown you on multiple accounts over the last couple of days that I made with $500 over $1,000 in a matter of a couple of hours. So don't fade that. Now, the phase 2 of the market that I want to talk about, what I've seen today, is how money is flowing in different assets than Bitcoin already. Here you see, okay, that's the Turkish lira, but it doesn't matter. We are only interested in Tether, where Tether is going. And you see here currently Tether is flowing for the majority into Bitcoin, then into Ethereum, and then into USDC, and then into other coins. So, but what's interesting here is that the flow into Ethereum over the last 24 hours has massively increased. So it's a little bit more than half than what it is for Bitcoin, and it keeps increasing. So, and that is for me a sign on chain that we're starting now slowly phase 2, where money flows from Bitcoin into Ethereum. It's not happening right away, right now. We need the correction for Bitcoin first for this to be happening. So, and for this correction to be happening, we also need the Bitcoin dominance to come down. So here is the big problem that we will get with the dominance and altcoins overall when the phase 2 really starts. Bitcoin will move down, the dominance will get nuked, and that means altcoins also gonna experience a 10, 15, 20, 25% drop at the same time. It will be really volatile when you see it, but then the dominance will get a small bounce, Bitcoin will get a small bounce, the dominance will then start falling, and Bitcoin will do this, just chop sideways, or maybe even starts running again a little bit, but altcoins will then massively run with Bitcoin because the dominance has topped out. So, and I believe that the blow off top for the dominance will happen in our big resistance area here from 61.3% roughly all the way up to 63.3%. That is the area where the dominance will get rejected. And once we see this rejection happening, in my opinion, it will coincide with a big drop in Bitcoin. Then altcoins going to start to run really hard, and then capital will rotate from Bitcoin, from all the profit that have people made in Bitcoin, rotate into Ethereum and layer 2s and into other big altcoins. The total market cap, the total free market cap will then also explode, will break here the $835 billion mark, where we are still consolidating below. And here, just a reminder, guys, I said this many times, the more we are retesting a level, the weaker it gets. It doesn't matter if it's to the upside or to the downside, you know. So, and here at some point it's going to break and then we snap to the upside. So, and that's what I'm currently waiting for here. And it will happen, guys. We are really close to it. I think it's a matter of potentially hours to be happening, maybe another day or two, but we are really close to see this unfolding in front of our eyes. So here you see today that Ethereum got a little bit of life and pushed it to the upside, and is currently above the 0.5 Fibonacci extension level here at $3,100, while we are consolidating in that falling wedge pattern. And if we get the drop today in Bitcoin, then Ethereum will most likely break out tomorrow. So I think this whole candle will completely retrace, move here into the EMA ribbon below $3,000, will get bought up, will close somewhere here between 3,080 and 3,100, and then tomorrow's candle will just break like this to the upside. So, but again, we need Bitcoin to stop to go up, and the Bitcoin dominance also needs to stop to go up. Only then it's going to happen. The Ethereum dominance at the same time also needs to find a level to bounce from. I think worst case scenario is that we come down to like 0.027 Bitcoin against Ethereum from where we're going to bounce. Because when you look here in the past, that was the first level that broke and turned into support here in that massive altcoin season, and then also gave resistance before we moved higher. So here the underlying level that we are most likely approaching right now is the level that I see the Ethereum Bitcoin chart bouncing from. And then we see also the massive run that we are all waiting for. Solana is really close to break of that downward sloping trend line. Once it's breaking, I think it's going straight into the golden ratio here. So if you're waiting for a Solana trade, we need a break at $244 again, and a 4-hourly close. Maybe we get that lucky in the next 18 minutes with the upcoming close. Need to see what's going to happen here. But even if it's the next candle, you know, as soon as you see a 4-hourly candle closing here above that level, that's where you want to enter, because the indicators are all telling us that we are ready to go higher. Here, MACD about to print a buy signal, potentially with the next upcoming 4-hourly candle. Stochastic is already bullish here to the upside. RSI is going a little bit sideways, just for the simple fact that we are at resistance currently. Some of these older coins are again making moves with Bitcoin together, and that is something that I wanted to show you, because Bitcoin Cash was one of the coins that I was looking at this morning when I got out of bed, but I didn't look at the chart. I only looked at TradingView and saw the Bitcoin Cash price while Bitcoin was going up, and Bitcoin Cash was like only up like 1% or 2%, you know. So, and then I went down to my office, started to set up everything for today, and then 20% in like a second. I wasn't even able to blink as fast as it went when Bitcoin went up. And I was like, oh shit, it's happening again. So, and why am I telling you this? Because it went up by breaking one of these support resistance flip zones. Look here, retest, resistance, break, and shot to the upside. So of course, if you would have waited for this break, you would have not caught the whole move, but you could have caught like 11%. So, and again, I'm going through a lot of charts and look right now only for this setup. I'm not even looking at indicators. I look for this kind of setup on coins because these are the coins that are going to create these shots to the upside. So, and you want to be in them when it's happening. So for example, this one I missed personally. But one of the other ones that is close to do something like this might be AVAX. So AVAX here, once we break $37.76, another 10% move, it's going to pull the same stunt. So that is why I'm watching it. But I want first to see that we break this downward sloping trend line here on the daily chart. So and that is currently sitting at around $35. Once we are breaking $35, I'm buying and then I let it run. Because the first move that's AVAX is going to make is $43.60 and potentially then run into the golden ratio here at around $50. If you want to trade on a decentralized platform here with me together, guys, use AlphaX. You can use your MetaMask, your Trust Wallet, So if you have problems with ZoomX or with Bybit, this is the platform where I'm trading, So here I'm still up on my Solana trade, but my Sui trade gets a little bit hammered because of the dominance currently. But I still think it's going to recover. You still get $100 just for signing up there. Plus, if you deposit $100, you stand a chance to win $500. And also here, I give $500 away by the end of the video. Then FDM. FDM, a lot of guys ask me about FDM. It's giving me a little bit of headache here, to be honest. But it's in a falling wedge. And I see this breaking out really, really soon. Because look here at the MACD, completely oversold and printing red candles, So here on the stochastic, also oversold, needs to bounce. The RSI is slightly turning around. So hopefully the next 12-hourly candle that is opening in 15 minutes will start pushing to the upside. And here the first level that it's going to push into will be almost 71 cents if it goes to the upside. If Bitcoin decides to drop, then expect that we go down here to the 0.382 to 63 cents. Get a wick down there and then come back up. And then the next candle tomorrow is the one that's going up. So how I would play this if I would not have already a phantom position, I would do 50-50. 50% in a limit order for the trade that I want to take. If it moves down, 50% into the position market buy if the next 12-hourly candle starts to move to the upside. So if it comes down, then you just basically dollar cost average down and take the bounce with you back to the upside, and then you make all the money. So of course, don't over leverage yourself. Don't do this with like 20x, because then you get wrecked. So do this with like 3, 4, 5x, something like this, where you can stomach a bigger drop in phantom. The other one I'm looking at is Rune. Rune also here, that green box, that support box. From here, I expect also a big breakout to the upside. Look here. Here we are looking way more bullish than on Phantom, because here we are getting already the shift in the MACD from selling into buying by printing lighter red candles. We have already a buy signal on the stochastic RSI. The RSI also pointing to the upside. So here, any moment, we could get a nice move in Rune, at least into $5.60, potentially close to the $6.10 level. And I think $6.10 is the initial level where I'm going to take some profits or at least tighten up my stop loss. Because even if we go back, up now, the drop that we expect for Bitcoin is not going away. It's still going to happen, and you need, for that reason, to be really wary with your stop losses and your risk management. Then Telegram also really close to the break of the downward sloping trend line, about to print a buy signal on the stochastic RSI going already up. This can also break, let's have a look here. The next 4-hourly candle potentially brings us above that downward sloping trend line. If you're in with me since $5, you're fine. You know, you are already up 8% up on your trade. You can just leave it like this. The only thing that I would do is I would set my stop loss at my entry level for this specific trade here. If you want to trade this at the break, then you need to wait for $5.55 and enter from there, because we are also forming at the same time here. And here you just wait for the break at $5.55 before we go higher. And then here the target, so here the target is at $6.70 approximately. And that might be also one of the targets that I'm gonna take here, because the way that this is setting up, we have a lot of room to go to the upside, potentially all the way up to $7. TIA, also one that I'm still holding currently, but it starts to give me also a headache. But as long as we are holding the upward sloping trend line here, we should get a nice bounce and finally start moving here back in direction of $6, because again, the indicators showing that they want to turn around. And as long as we are consolidating between these two dashed lines, we should get a move to the upside pretty soon. Let's talk about AI coins. They did not really move yesterday as expected, because Bitcoin was spoiling the party with the Bitcoin dominance. Even though Nvidia came out with super bullish numbers, regardless of it, I only see that as a delayed breakout, because again, once the Bitcoin dominance is coming down, everything else will start running. So here on Casper, currently I think it's at a good buy level, because also here everything is turning around. We are only retesting a key support resistance flip zone, and as long as we are closing here the 12 hourly in 10 minutes above 15 cents 0.1, I expect a bounce here back to the upside in direction of 18 cents, potentially 20 cents. And here also on the 12 hourly, everything is slowly turning around back to the upside. The next one is Render. I got liquidated on my Render trade, will be honest, but I had also not crazy money on that. I don't know how much I had on there. $100, $200 was the trade, you know, so did not expect that. So here, that big supply area crushed us, and then the price came down into that demand area. Here we got a bounce from there. Also here, a bigger move back to the upside, at least to the downward sloping trend line, might be coming here pretty soon, because look, that move to the downside was also quite volatile. Expect that this is going to reverse here over the next coming hours. Here, right now, I would wait for a break of this downward sloping trend line before I would re-enter into Render. I did not personally re-enter right now on a leverage position. I'm waiting, as you should do, for that break. And then I will definitely take this time some profits up here and tighten my stop loss, wait what's going to happen, and then potentially trade this all the way up here into the Fibonacci extension levels. GRT, also one where I'm currently underwater. I was a long time actually not underwater here today, I must say, but now I'm also here underwater. But again, as long as it's holding this dashed line here at 21 cents, I will keep holding this trade. I will keep holding this. That can potentially break out here with the next 4 hourly candle that's opening in 8 minutes. So that's what I'm waiting for. So if we start moving here like to 20 cents 0.5 or something, that's where I'm going to cut it. But right now the indicators are also telling us that we are ready to turn around and go back to the upside. So here the target remains 26, 27 cents. That's where I'm going to close that trade. ICP fell out of that symmetrical triangle. It's not a symmetrical triangle anymore. It's more like also a falling wedge currently. But here we have a little bit more room to come down to like $8.73. I was not get liquidated on that one, fortunately. So I can keep holding that, because also here momentum is shifting back to the upside. We hold the golden ratio currently, which is also a bullish indication for continuation. And here my initial target is $10.10, because it's the prior high here, which should be the first target on the way back up. Then near one of the coins that I was expecting to do well yesterday, which definitely didn't with the Nvidia report, I look for a reclaim of this downward sloping trend line here, which is currently at $5.52. That's also more or less my entry level, so I'm not that much underwater here. Here, same thing again, the indicators point to a reversal back to the upside, so this might be just a small deviation where we come back up in the next 4 hours and then continue the upwards trajectory here into $6.35 as the first take profit level, and then here all the way up to $7.74. If we get a steeper move to the downside, let's say we go into the golden ratio down here, back to $5, I would just keep adding here because I don't believe that we go much lower than that. Tau also moved lower than what I expected. We are still in a buy zone. So if you want to buy Tau, it's still in a good area. Also here, heavily oversold on the indicators. We are in a falling wedge pattern. I was lucky enough to get out in this move here today, earlier. I was in from $476 and I closed it at $500. So it was more or less like a 4% move where I took profit on because it just jumps too much up and down here. So it was too risky for me. I closed it on my leverage trade. And now I'm just waiting for that break of that falling wedge at $493. So roughly, what is this? This is like a 10% move currently from where we are at. No, it's not exactly. It's a 5-6% move that I'm waiting for to re-enter this. I want that we reclaim at least the top of that range here at $483 before I open a new position, because it can still happen that we see something like this and then go back up. So here the targets remain the same: 547, 607, 663, and then here all the way up to 700. Then Theta finally starts bouncing. Also here, falling wedge pattern on the 4-hourly chart. Currently, the trade's also a little bit underwater, but it's still fine. I'm not insanely underwater here. And Theta is also one of the altcoins. You know, one of the altcoins that likes to pump really hard, and it's going to happen when we break $1.73. We tried yesterday to stay above here. You saw here some crazy moves in direction of $1.85. But we then got rejected from that big supply area over here. But I believe the next time that we come up here and break this, it's going to fly really, really quickly in direction of $2. So here I'm still holding this position. If you're still in it, it's fine. If not, and you are looking for a trade on this, then wait here also of the break of the downward sloping trend line or of the break of $1.73. That's how you're going to trade this. Then the last one is Fetch. Fetch bouncing off the demand area that is sitting here. Indicators are completely oversold, especially the stochastic RSI. The RSI is fine, it's neutral. The MACD a little bit bearish, but if you go into the 12-hourly chart, you see here things look a little bit different, but not as good as on the 4-hourly chart. So here I would wait for a reclaim of the 9-moving average. If you're not so risk adverse, definitely wait for a break of this downward sloping trend line here, which is currently sitting at $1.31. So I will be honest, I have not a position in Fetch right now because I did not look yesterday where I can trade it on leverage. That's why I'm not in it. I still have a spot position somewhere from a long time ago when Fetch was like 15, 16 cents or something. I cannot remember. I bought this like 4 or 5 years ago. So a really, really old spot position. And I'm not looking to sell this unless we break like $3, $4, $5, you know. So, but for leverage, I'm not in it. I have to check on Binance if I actually can still trade Fetch on leverage there. Now let's give away $1,000 random number generator for people on ZoomX, because the winner from yesterday did not write. So there you go. From 32 to 79, generate 65. If your number is 359341437, you won $500. Congratulations. Send an email to info@amcrypto.us with a screenshot that this account number belongs to you, and my team will sort you out within 48 hours. And you need to claim that in the rewards hub of ZoomX otherwise. So look at Saturday if you have it in the rewards hub. If not, trust me, you're going to get it. Just check every 24 hours again. And then on AlphaX, we are also going to give away right now $500 from 7 to 19. 7 to 19. Number 17, 167-82706. If that's your number, you know the drill. Send me an email with a screenshot. Same thing. Gonna sort you out as fast as possible. Gonna send it over to the AlphaX team, and then you get the $500 credited. Guys, thank you so much for watching again. Don't forget, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I hope to see you with more money tomorrow.